Hello all, much love to everyone out there right now. I have something special for you today. I'm going to be playing along with an instrumental piece that my father recorded in 1974 at Uncle Dirty Sound Machine in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I choose this song because 6 years ago today, my father passed away from pancreatic C-word. However, he left lots of recordings for inspiration for us and to help us get through certain things like the times we're in right now. After the song plays, I'm going to share more in depth with you how I heard the song and how I ended up playing the song and what it means to my father and I's relationship and how it kind of saved it. So if that interests you, that'll be at the end, but caution, it may get a little real. I choose electric drums to play for you today for a couple reasons. One, I can play these and make these videos while my children are sleeping or in the middle of the night. As most people know, I'm an insomniac.
Keeps me awake!
And another reason is that my father and I have a history of electronic drum interest together. You see, he bought me my first electronic drum, a snare drum. I was about 5 years old when it came out, and my father got it for me immediately and included it as part of my kit. And I've been playing electronic drum instruments ever since. When my father and I saw the Roland TD7 for the first time at a drum clinic in Orlando, Florida, he immediately got financing and helped me try to get a kit. And then when the Roland TD10 came out a little bit later, I got my own small loan and then was able to pay it back in just a couple months from gigs that I got from having that kit. So electronic drums have came a long way since my first snare that my father got me, and him and I would jam a lot on electronic instruments, both pianos and drums. And so I feel he'd be very impressed with what has came out now with the new electronic instruments and plugins, and I have a lot of fun playing along with his music with these, and I hope you enjoy it too. So here is me and Miller Goodman playing along to his song from 1974. I hope you enjoy it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, I'll share a little bit about the song at the end here. So let me rewind back just a bit. My parents were musicians. My father was a composer and a performer. My parents performed in both pop bands, cover bands, in churches and choirs, and were recording artists. As my infatuations with drums and music inclined, my parents were quick to include me in these things. This next part I'm going to share with you because I think it's important perspective on the time that we're in right now. My parents had a turning point in life and moved down to another state and then got jobs and ended up a little stressed out. I, at the same time, was becoming a teenager and perhaps mirroring a reflection too close to my father. The toxic relationship ended up in abusive arguments and eventually violence. And I'll add that some people like to talk up their deceased ancestors as these saints and angelic people that did no wrong, but however, I just don't agree with that. We were born to make mistakes. So I like the perspective of learning from life situations, and in this one, we were in a place where we almost never spoke again. My father got a job at a TV studio where he had been for a couple years and was able to pull some strings and get me, a teenager, a job there. Kind of unheard of now, but hey, it was the 90s and the economy was just explosive. So I was a grip and a PA and a couple other things. So late one night, it was him and I working in this big TV studio all by ourselves, just finishing up some things for a show in the morning. And the show was like a talk show or music show, so it had like some drums and some other equipment that we had to set up and sound test for it. Of course, when you set these things up, you have to sound test them all. So I got on the drums and I was testing the gain and the mics and everything, and he was on the piano. And so then he started playing some riffs, and so I start jamming along with him. And one of the riffs is this song. And it's memorable to me, I think, because as far as I can remember, this became a turning point. And so we were jamming on it quite a few times and ended the piece, and we had a lot of fun. And I remember my dad coming over to me immediately after, and I remember it perfectly clear. And he looked at me and he said, "Son, I have played this with countless professional musicians all over this world, and none of them could play it just the way I want it and what I was hearing. And nobody played it as perfect as you just did." And for some reason I remember that being pivotal in our relationship, where we ended up then working together on things and being infatuated in music and sound and recordings, and him helping me with my band recordings and promotions and everything, and all the things that we did since then. And yes, we still had quarrels after that, but nothing compared to where we were and what we were about to become and the relationship that we ended up having. So I think it's important now more than ever for us to accept each other and have a chance here to repair any relationships that may have been on their way out in the past, and be sure not to let our environment dictate our behaviors with one another. I've learned that this imperfect world will always have fear and always have stress and always have the next thing to be afraid of. But my father, Miller, would have been fine in the situations that we have right now. He wasn't too in tune with his environment. His shoes literally could be on fire and he wouldn't know unless somebody told him. However, it wouldn't stop him from enjoying his time with the people around him. So stay safe, and if you're lucky enough to be one of the ones that feel well, don't stress. Be excellent to one another. And as Miller titled this song, Praise. I'll play you out.
Choose my words carefully here.